little dark spot at the end of the come off of it. Like this isn't like lifting properly. Okay. Oh my goodness.
What are you trying
I'm
to
so
do?
sorry. This is just this thing first of all. Okay, like this needs to move.
Zoom in and then focus.
Is that good?
Keep there.
Alright. Apparently I was
We're
recording
ready?
the whole time.
How long have you been playing on the streets?
Only a couple weeks lately. I'm pretty new to it. I'm pretty new to it. It's only been a couple weeks. I've been wanting to for a very long time, but I just turned 18, so.
What made you want to be a street musician?
Well, the freedoms of being able to just play whatever you want seemed extremely appealing because a lot of the times people either want to hear things that they know or things that are extremely structured, and I like to just improvise. So,
And do you play elsewhere?
I play at Dundas Square. I'm gonna definitely play on Queen Street in the summer, for sure.
What about other venues? Do you ever go play restaurants or at gigs or anything?
I play at a lot of open mics. One place that I played at recently was Dave's. There's a couple other places like the Supermarket in Kensington.
And have you made any money so far?
I have made $1.25.
How does it feel?
It feels good. You know,
Feels good,
better
just-
than nothing.
That's cool. And is that sort of part of the reason why you're doing it? Do you need to make money or are you just looking for some exposure?
No, I'd like to bring music to the streets. I find the streets very dry and cold, and I just think people could use some music.
What do you enjoy most about it?
Well, I enjoy the people. You meet so many different people. Some people are crazy, some people are fascinating. Crazy can be fascinating. Also, just being able to play whatever I want is just really nice. You don't have to have this audience staring you down.
Have you had any bad experiences?
Yes, there was this guy that was a kind of a preacher, and he came up to me and he said he was a world-class percussionist. So he said he'll come back, and he came back with a hi-hat and a rain stick and one drumstick, and he just started hitting it constantly. And then this guy with a camera came by, and he took out a Bible and put it right in front of his thing, and he started screaming Proverbs. It was fun.
So given that, do you ever feel unsafe?
At first it can get a little scary, but eventually you just kind of warm up to it, and it can be kind of safe because you have all these people around and these huge buildings over top, so it's nice.
Have you jammed with any other street musicians? Have you met any?
Well, I have a friend named Mahmoud. He's a drummer. He plays a djembe, and he's getting his license soon. So we're gonna collaborate.
Do you have any specific corners that you're, according to your license, that you're not allowed to perform at, or what's the process of getting a license?
Well, the process of getting a license is you have to go all the way to Coxwell, and you have to wait in line, and the lineup can be quite long, and you have to answer some questions. You're not allowed an amplifier, which is horrible. So you need acoustic instruments. You have to sign this big legal form. You have to pay $40, and where you're not allowed to play is you have to keep 20 to 30 meters away from an intersection. You have to give 3 meters on the sidewalk to pedestrians, and you can't play in front of the Eaton Center between certain hours.
How do you feel about those rules?
I can understand the intersection one, but the amplifier rule is grotesque, because it's like, there's drummers with full drum sets that are allowed to play to their heart's content, and people with small battery-powered amplifiers can't play at all. It's really distressing, because there's a lot of good musicians out there that would like to play, but that's a big setback. As far as the Eaton Center, it's one of the best places to busk, so that can be an issue at times.
Have you heard of anybody being discovered, like more
Yes.
mainstream after they've busked?
There was a bucket drummer, I don't remember his name, but he ended up actually getting scooped off into some Broadway stuff in Las Vegas and things, like actually pretty large. Well, there's people that have been recommended to go to different bars and things, but nothing other than that.
So this process for you, is this something that you want to do full-time music, or is this kind of like a hobby on the side?
Well, if I was able to use an amplifier, I'd consider doing it a lot more, because there's this deep sort of connection that's very permeable about busking, just being able to connect with the environment. It's very different than most live situations, so I'd consider it if the money was better. There's other places to play that are much more supportive of street performers, like Montreal or even France. They're very supportive over there.
And do you plan on playing in the Toronto Busker Fest this year?
Definitely.
What do you hope to gain from that?
Exposure, a better audience, meeting other buskers, and seeing other buskers play. There's some really good people out there.
Have you done it before?
No, I'd like to.
How do you handle a situation, for example, if you're going to a location to play and there's already musicians there, like what's the dialogue that goes on with like who plays where, and make sure you don't step on each other's toes?
I've never experienced it myself, but first of all, you have to keep a 20 to 30 meter distance from them, and I've heard of actual busker battles where you get to fight for your right to play on the spot, and like depending on the result from the audience, that's who wins.
That's cool. What's the best place you've played at so far?
Dundas Square.
Dundas Square?
Definitely.
How do you feel about people looking at you when you play? Do you enjoy it? Do you get a little bit of stage fright?
I don't get any stage fright. I actually get a little exhilarated, because you can kind of feed off of people's expressions. Like, you get a wide range of people that are just feel that you're obscene, or some people feel that you're really contributing, so it it can be very positive to the experience of what I play.
What do you like the least about busking?
When it's really cold and you really want to play, the weather for sure, and the noise of the traffic can be a little annoying. Definitely amplifiers. Not having an amplifier is horrible.
Was the experience kind of like what you imagined? You mentioned that you wanted to do this for a while. So is it everything that you wanted it to be?
And more, definitely. It can be an almost spiritual experience at times, just the feelings that you get of just playing out in the space for everybody. Whoever listens, even birds listen, it's really interesting.
Awesome. I think that's all of our questions. Do you
Have I spoken loud enough?
I think you should.